Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ronja. I'm here with my guest, Farhad Khan, and we're here to talk to you about member engagement, member retention, and all those important things that make associations tick. So, we're going to ask our guest here, Farhad, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Farhad Khan, CEO of Grype Digital. Now, we are really trying our podcast for the first time with a live stream on YouTube. And thank you so much, Ronja, for actually hosting it for us today. Today we're going to talk about Member Launch. Let's see how it goes. Ronja, over to you.
Okay, great. So, Farhad, you run a digital agency in Ottawa. Um, you build member portals for associations. So, rumor has it that you think you've cracked the code of building a membership site that's really going to engage members and retain members and keep them happy. Tell us about what you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think we have really cracked the code in for member engagement completely. No one can ever do that, but I think like we have come up with many strategies and many practices that we can really use to increase member engagement for associations. We've been working with associations for over 10 years now, and then one problem that we have been hearing again and again from associations is that their members are not engaged. And when we try to like dig deeper into the problem, what we find is that members are not engaged because they're not using the benefits, right? So if they're not using the benefits, they're not finding value, and as a result, they are not engaged. That's why we want to like work on this special project, Member Launch, and you'll hear more about that today. And we'll tell you what we are actually doing with Member Launch to actually solve some of the member engagement problems that associations are having nowadays.
Okay, sounds great. So, there's lots of players in the member engagement world, lots of templates out there. Many to recount here. Tell us what what impact do you think you could make on the association landscape with Member Lounge? Tell us what makes it different.
Yeah, so I think the one thing that we really wanted to do with Member Lounge is that give the members of the associations a single place for them to be able to engage with the association in a very seamless way. A key challenge that we have been finding for a lot of associations is that like their main company website and then their member portal, their benefits and everything is lumped together in one website. So when members are actually coming to their website, they don't always find the benefits all in one place, and they're very difficult to find. And oftentimes what happens is that like they start with with one navigation and then they get lost. So that's one part of the problem. Okay, and then the other problem that we find is that members are actually looking for certain things, but like they have certain needs, they have some certain desires, but the association is not even like delivering any of those. So as a result, the member doesn't get value because the associations are not listening to them enough. So listening to the association, to the members, is actually very important. Like you want to be listening to your audience all the time so you can give them valuable service. So I think like what we are trying to do with Member Lounge is that we eventually we're going to like cover the whole like feedback loop where Member Lounge is able to like get feedback and surveys and everything like from the members. But to begin with our launch, what we want to do is give members one place, a one-stop shop that they can go to for your association to find all the benefits and to engage with your association overall. So that's what we are trying to do with Member Lounge.
Okay, great. I see in your name that you're a digital strategist, and I can tell as your answer has lots of strategy. But tell me, what makes Member Lounge different than their its sister products out there that also are their membership sites?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are a number of things there as well, but the key differentiator that we have is that when you create your membership website with Member Launch, then you kind of like own the product and you can do all the customization that you want. One challenge with a lot of off-the-shelf products is that if you take an off-the-shelf membership website, you take it and then you're not able to brand it the way you want, or you're not able to like connect that membership website with a lot of the other tools that you have in-house. And as a result, it becomes like one more tool that you have to maintain, and it's not talking to all the other tools that you have in-house.
Mm.
So we did not want to go through like all the challenges that we have seen our association clients face in the past. So what we try to do is that like we built Member Launch on an open platform. So it's an open source solution built on Drupal and CVCRM. And by the way, I don't want to like talk too much technology, but Drupal and CVCRM are like two of the most popular open source solutions for building membership websites in the world. So you will be in good hands for sure. So we have built a solution, a membership site solution that is built on top of open standards. And as a result, when you actually deploy a site with Member Launch, First of all, you have very open standards that you can connect with your other tools. At the same time, you own the product, right? So when you get the solution from us, it's not like you are locked in with the vendor. So you own the product. We can help you maintain it, but after you have ramped up on the technology, it's yours to keep. So you will not be stuck with us anymore.
Stuck with you doesn't sound good. I'm sure you're doing good stuff. So with Member Lounge, what are you most proud of? What's exciting you the most?
Yeah, so I think we ran into an interesting challenge like during the pandemic, because right before the pandemic we did a very exciting workshop with one of our associations, and then we actually like helped the association create a very good roadmap on engaging with their members online. And that's kind of like where the member launch idea like initially came to being. And by the time the roadmap was in place for our client, the pandemic hit. So when the pandemic hit, the client couldn't be any more ready. They were all ready to do their webinars. They're ready to do like so many things based on our roadmap. And then like they actually saw the power of a good digital roadmap, and they were able to hit the ground running with a roadmap even in the middle of the pandemic. There were many associations who were kind of like scrambling to actually get up to speed with online tools and whatnot. But this client of ours, they were fully ready. So we actually had another client like that who were in a similar situation. So what we realized is that like if we can kind of like come up with a set of tools that we can just give to the association, and they can use it to deliver all their services and everything, then they'll be able to engage with their members a lot better. So that's what we are trying to do. So with MemberLodge, I hope this will become like a one-stop shop, a little thing that you install and dramatically increase the engagement with your members. So I think that is what I'm most proud of. And we are already seeing some results with one of our clients, so which is very exciting.
Okay, great. So you're the strategist. You know what your clients don't know before they know it. If you could get up on your soapbox and share a message to these membership execs and association execs about what they need to know before they pick, an out-of-the-box um, membership site template, what would you want them to know before they make their decision?
Yeah. One challenge that we have seen again and again, like once again, is that we jump to a solution before thinking about the problem enough. And oftentimes we identify the wrong problem by doing that. So if you jump to a solution like too soon, then you're only limited to the solution that you're seeing in front of you. You're not like solving the main problem. So I think like what is very important is that for association executives is to go back and look at their current membership, look at the current membership numbers, look at everything else, and understand what their members need, and understand like where is the disconnect. Do you really need a membership site at this point in time, or is there something else that you need to work on? And honestly, like we do not want a client to like use Member Lounge and then not get value from it. So if it is not the right product, then don't use it, right? So that's why my recommendation for all association executives is that look at your current membership, look at what is working, look at what is not working, maybe talk to some of your members to understand like what their needs are and whether you're able to actually fulfill those needs. And once you have identified what are the gaps you have in your current membership, then you should go out and look for a solution to find out what tools can actually fill the gaps for you. That way, what's going to happen is that like your choice of tools will be limited, and you'll find that like the decision making process will be much easier.
Okay, great. I like that you said uh, find the right tool that's for you, and it may or may not be Member Lounge. But with Member Lounge or with member engagement in general, can you talk to us about how Member Lounge will help measure engagement and what engagement success looks like with Member Lounge?
Yeah, so I think there are many ways of measuring engagement with your members, but some of the key metrics that we can probably like easily like pull up. I'm not saying these are the only metrics, but these are some like very effective metrics. It's how many like what proportion of your members are actually coming to your events. If you have events, then if people are actually coming to the events, number one. Number two, if you have an online discussion area or networking area on your site, then which we are going to have with member launch very soon. It's not there yet, but we are building it. So if you actually see if your members are engaged in the discussion area, you know that they're actually getting value. And then also at the same time, when you have the benefits on your membership portal on member launch, then are your members actually accessing the benefits? Are they actually making use of it? So what we are trying to do is that we are measuring the analytics and the statistics, like using Google Analytics on our member launch product. So what you will see is that you'll actually get a very clear understanding of like what proportion of your services are actually being used. We're not going to track individual users. We are not going to like chase them, and then like give you individual data for each person. That is not fair for the user, we think. But in general, you'll get an overall view of what proportion of your members are accessing the benefits.
Okay, great. Accessing benefits. Those are the magic words we want to hear, right?
Absolutely.
What, given the landscape options that are out there and the size of associations and their needs vary, what would make an association a good candidate for Member Lounge? What would make Member Lounge the good fit for them and their needs?
Yeah, so I think in order for someone to really benefit from member launch, they have to have like a good in-house team who can actually maintain the service and maintain the tool. I'm not saying that the tool is like very difficult to maintain; it's fairly easy. But if you are just maybe a one-man association, or if you only have like 3 team members in the team and there's no one dedicated for marketing or member engagement, then it will become a bit challenging for you. So I would say if you are say 5 to 10 people association or bigger, and you have a dedicated marketing engagement person or a team where you can kind of like drive the engagement through member launch, I think that is when you're ready to use a tool like this. For sure, you can get all the tools in the world, but if you're not like setting aside time and putting in the effort to use it properly, or actually like use it in a way where your members will get value, then the tool is meaningless for you. So I would say if you are on the smaller side of an association, then a more off-the-shelf tool will be better for you. But if you think you have an engagement team in your organization where there's at least one person who can drive member engagement, at least one person is the keyword, right? So if you have at least one person in the team in marketing and member engagement, then I think you can use something like Member Launch.
Okay, cool. So, people who license template websites are used to, monthly fees. I understand that you said they would own their site, which is amazing. We should talk about that. But in terms of that maintenance, you talked about like having someone on the team to take care of it. What does that communication look like with you when there are questions, when there are hiccups, when they do want to make changes to the site? Like how does that play into the services that you offer?
That's a very good question, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of our audience will have the same question as well. So the way we are pricing our member launch product and the way we want to kind of like help our clients is that there is an initial setup fee. That's because we do want to customize the member launch to meet your brands, to meet your like your tone and everything else. And we need to make sure that we can migrate some of your data here, your membership data. So there is a bit of a setup fee at the beginning. So in the first month, we set up the product for you and then get your member launch website up and running. And then there's a small like monthly ongoing fee. So the monthly fee really covers the cost of us maintaining the site for you. So as part of that maintenance, you actually you can like ask for bug fixes, and then you'll like if you want to make any small customizations like for your own association needs, which is very different from other associations if you have unique needs. And we know that every association is different and you will always have a unique needs. So we can actually help you with your unique needs within your member launch website. And then at the same time, we actually have an ongoing training. The training is new as well. So we're going to offer group training for our member launch clients so that you can like come like work with us, and then you can actually not just like use the tool, but we will give you the strategies and the ideas where you can use the tools effectively to grow your membership.
Okay, wow, this is fun. We are offering learning opportunities. That's great. So what can a client expect from Member Lounge, right? So what does that process look like? What does that onboarding process look like? How soon do they get their website?
Yeah, so I think typically if once you have decided to like work with us, you will be up and running anywhere between like 1 and 2 months. It should not take any more than that. And during that onboarding, we will like work with your team members, your engagement team, your marketing team, and then understand like what your brand looks like, what your brand guidelines are, so we can set up the site according to your needs. And then we also have to import your membership or maybe connect our member launch product with your existing AMS or CRM. By the way, the member launch product comes with a CRM itself. So we built the solution on top of CVCRM and Drupal. So we come with a CVCRM backend where we can give you a full-blown membership database. But if you do want to use an external association management system or a CRM, then we can connect with that too. So there is a bit of a setup at the beginning to make all the connections, like with your CRM and between our CRM as well, or importing the data. And after that, you will be up and running. So I'm saying like it's no more than 1 to 2 months for you to set up, and then you'll be good to go. You can start engaging your members.
Okay, great. I got my questions here I want to get to, but I have some in the chat here. We have someone who's asked, hi, Bana, thanks for joining us. It says, you have mentioned companies not using benefits to engage members. I just want to know what kind of benefits should they be using?
Yeah, absolutely. So associations will often actually have a number of different benefits for their members, and sometimes there are group purchase plans. So, for example, if you are part of a certain alumni association, then you get discounted like insurance, right? So then this is a very like basic example. And then say I'm part of an alumni association. So I went to Carleton University. So say I'm part of like Carleton, and if I want to get like the discount coupon from Carleton's alumni association, it is a bit difficult to find, right? So when I'm like on the phone with an insurance company, I want to be able to find the discount code or coupon relatively easily. So for many associations, what we find is that like that information is like buried deep within navigations after navigation. So with member launch, what we want to do is that we want to bring all those benefits front and center up front, so that the moment you log in, you can get the benefits right away. So this is an example of one benefit, Bonna. Another benefit can be like if you have like member only events, right? So member only events can be published on the website or on a number of different places. But as a member, I don't want to be going to Facebook to learn about my association. I don't want to be like going to like LinkedIn to learn about my association, right? So I'm a member of an association. So I want to just go to my association website or the member portal and access the event right away. So that's what we are doing here as well. So all the events are actually like front and center on the member launch homepage. And it's not even an event tab that you have to click. The way we designed it is that the moment you log in, all the important information that you should be accessing is right there on the homepage, right? So that is one of the key things I think like that will really drive engagement. So these are examples of two benefits, Bonna.
Okay, great. Bona's got another one. Bona's on fire today. It says, you're telling us that Member Lounge is built on Drupal and CVCRM. What about Drupal updates? You talked about members of their team being responsible to help maintain it. Where do the lines, what do you offer versus what are they responsible for?
Absolutely, that's a very good question. So since member launch is really a tool for your team to use, so anything to do with content, like management of the content, like posting events, like updating your benefits, these are the responsibility of the association. So the association marketing team should be able to handle that. But anything technical, for example, what Ponna is asking, so if there are Drupal updates or CVCRM updates, then if anything like technical like that will be handled by our team. So under the maintenance plan, we'll be able to cover all the security updates and all the module updates as well. So you are in good hands for sure. So yeah, so there's another challenge that we see as associations is that people face is their sites get hacked every now and then. So we did work with a few organizations, and then like we saw that their sites got hacked in front of our own eyes before we got to like start working with them. So that will not be the case with us. So number one, security is like a top priority for us. That's why we built it on Drupal and not WordPress. WordPress has a lot of security issues every now and then. We chose to use Drupal because of that. So you'll be in good hands for sure.
Thanks for your questions, Bana. Great. I love that you're thinking, what do I get out of this? That's what this is all about, right? So back to what you said about what they can what a new member lounge user can expect from the process with you. You talked about data transfer and branding it. With data transfer, with any tech shakeup within a company, within an association, there's training involved. There's a lot of questions. There can be resistance. In your mind, is it a deterrent? Should it be a deterrent? What should people what's a realistic expectation regarding all those changes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the analogy I want to make here is that when you have a new team member on board, right? So you have a new employee that just like joined the team. What do you have to do? You have to onboard the person. You have to introduce that person to everyone else, and then that person makes connection with everyone else in the organization. The member launch product will probably be something very similar. It will be like a member of your team who will kind of like do a lot
Mm,
of the engagement work for you. But um, once again, it is a tool. So when you have a new team member, you have to like learn to work with the new team member, right? You have to
mm.
understand the person. The person has to understand you. So there is a bit of a learning curve there. So a new technology or a new tool, when you're introducing that in the company, it will be very similar to that. Just like hiring decision, you have to get approval from your manager to hire someone, like you have to get approval from your board for sure, or someone else to get the technology on board. And then you have to prove the benefits, like why you need the person or why you need the product, right? So I think it's very similar to that. But also at the same time, since it's a technology, it's a tool, right? You will actually do the work once, you will set it up once, and you will benefit from it for a very long time. It'll just be there, sitting there, doing the work for you on your behalf, right? So the ongoing maintenance and cost is like very minimal. It's just a setup, and then it's a matter of like you like keeping the lights on the member launch tool, and it will do the work for you. um, there is a bit of a change management process that you have to go through, because your staff is in like using a certain CRM right now, and if you choose to like use our CRM, CVCRM, then there is a bit of a learning process. But we have like onboarding training for you there as well. So whenever, and these are video training, so it's not just we just like give you manuals and then walk away with that. It's not like that. So we can actually like handhold your team, like onboard you on the CVCRM tool, and then the backend of the tool as well. And then you can keep the meeting recordings for your training, or we can like train your broader team as well.
Okay, great. You mentioned before that you built the site with Member Lounge with Drupal, and you explained why. But given the widespread use of WordPress, and I'm sure you have this, that your clients are using WordPress and have a WordPress site. If somebody had a WordPress public-facing website and an association had this, and then wanted the Member Lounge product, which is in Drupal, would there be any integration challenges, or are they able to continue to use their WordPress website?
That's a very good question. And you're right. A lot of associations actually have their main websites on WordPress. So what we believe in is that we really think that the main website that you have for your association like should not be too tightly integrated with your membership portal in general, right? That way you can like update one independently of the other whenever there is a need. If there are marketing trend changes, if you want to like do more marketing, you can like change your WordPress website as soon as there is a need. And if there are updates or things you can want to do on the member portal, you can do the member portal updates like independently on its own. So that's why the way we built it is that the member portal, the member launch like product that is built on Drupal, it talks to your main website that is on WordPress, right? But they are not too tightly integrated, right? So all the communication that needs to happen to share your member data, that is there. So members can kind of like easily log in from your main website to the member portal, and they can go back and forth. They can do things like this. But there is not a very strong integration where like we are dependent on WordPress or Drupal, either technology. So they can run independently on their own, but they talk to each other.
Okay, great. So for our audience who's still here, I want to thank you for joining us. We'll be wrapping up in a couple of minutes. So if you have any questions, please do type them into the chat. We'll be happy to address them. So to wrap up here, let's ask, I like to say that people have sort of like the aware problem, what they're aware of, and then the unaware problem, right? So what do you what do you see Member Lounge doing for associations and their team as a new member of their team that they're just not going to expect? Like they're really it's going to help them in a way that they aren't anticipating yet.
Yeah, so I think and I mentioned this earlier as well. I think like the one thing that will be very different is that like all the benefits will be, like all they are in one place for your members and then for your staff as well. So when your staff is actually like coming there to update your benefits or deliver services to the audience, your members, they will be able to like come to one place. So your staff coming to one place, your members coming to one place, right? So it will not be disconnected. So meaning we have a client right now, like where they're getting like emails from here, phone calls from here, and then like a number of email threads, that are open to support members. There are so many things. They have too many balls in the air, right? So our goal with Member Lounge is that like we want to like bring all that activity like down to one tool, down to this one Member Lounge product, where your staff and then your members all can interact in one place. So I think this is the one thing. It's the like huge paradigm shift that we are seeing one of our clients go through as well right now. There is a bit of a learning curve, but like once you get to the learning curve, like it's actually very smooth.
Okay, great. And in your experience meeting with association staff, and you're talking to them about their membership sites, what myths do you think are out there? What misunderstandings are out there that sort of, prevent people from making the right next steps for them for their membership site?
Yeah, so I think a key disconnect that people have is that they try to like build services like inside out. They kind of like start by understanding, okay, what are the services can we give? What do we have budget for? And then they just create the solution, create the service, right? So I think this is like one key disconnect that people have, that like this is not the right way of building any product. When you build a product, like you come up with a concept, you talk to your members, understand if your members are actually liking it or not, you collect some feedback, and then you come back, you iterate a little more, and then like you build up like a version of the product, and then you test a little more. So like the goal of building any product is that like you come up with an idea, but you improve the product like along the way when you're actually like talking to your members. But too many associations are not building the products, building their services by listening to their members, and they're just like trying to do it like inside out, whereas it should be outside in. Understand what your members are looking for, understand where the gap in the market is, and that you can actually fill, and then only create those benefits, those services. I think this is the one key disconnect that we see with associations a lot. This is kind of like a major misconception, and too many association executives are not realizing it. Many of them are like they are doing it right for sure, and we have had like many amazing guests like on our podcast for sure who are doing it really wonderfully well, but many others are not. So I think this is the one thing that is very different. And I would really invite associations to kind of like talk to their members a lot more, talk to their members and then listen to their needs, really listen in.
Okay, you mentioned your podcast. Uh, Podcasts are so popular now. You build membership sites? You do a podcast? Where's the connection? How does the podcast connect to your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think like the podcast is really an inspiration for us to kind of like create valuable content for our audience. So we really want our audience to like learn all the like tips and like tricks and strategies of growing membership, right? So like, we can give you all the tools in the world, but if you don't know how to use the tools, then the tools are like meaningless to you. So our podcast is really that like learning avenue for our audience, where you can actually come and like learn from other really experienced speakers who may be association executives, who may be consultants, who have been like helping associations for a very long time. So think of this: the people who we have on our podcast, they have been like working with like tens of like associations. They have solved these problems many times, right? If you come to our podcast and listen to one episode, you get all of that like 10 or 20 years of experience condensed in 1 hour. You don't have to read a book, like just like sit there, listen to that one podcast, like on your drive home or whatever you're doing, right? So that's why I think the podcast is very important. Like it's a very important learning tool for our audience.
Okay, cool. So our last question of the day here, Farhad, and thank you for joining us, is you mentioned earlier about roadmaps, and planning that strategy. What does the future hold for Member Lounge, and what role do you see it playing in the future? What is the dream that it will offer to associations?
Yeah, so I think the biggest goal that we have with Member Lounge is really help our associations deliver wonderful benefits and deliver the benefits in a way that the members are that is very easy for the members to also like access, right? So oftentimes the benefits are not like that easy to use. So we want the Member Lounge benefits section to be that one place, that hub where members can easily access all the benefits, and associations can actually like deliver the benefits through the tool as well. So I think that is the one thing. And in the process, while they're doing that, the associations will actually like learn a lot more about their members, and they'll be able to like grow their services, grow their benefits in the long term. And technology is changing, the world is evolving, like the world is very different from what it was 30 years ago, right? So the services that you had 30 years ago like are kind of like not relevant right now. And 2 years from now, like when we have like a lot more cryptocurrency, metaverse, things that we have right now may be irrelevant. So your benefits will probably become irrelevant very soon. So you have to come up with new tools as well. So as we are evolving, we will actually we will keep Member Launch up to date to like, and we will stay up to date with the technologies so that you can access all the new technologies right from Member Launch if you're using our product.
Okay, beautiful. So I want to share with our audience that this topic we talked about today was really specific to the product Member Lounge, but we often have learning opportunities, and you can learn more about that at grype.ca/events. We talk about member engagement, member retention, member benefits, membership pricing, data management, project scoping, all the good stuff that you want to hear. Please do check us out there. We have webinars, we have interview with an expert, and we look forward to seeing you. You can email us as well at support@grype.ca, and looking forward to seeing you next time. Keep in touch. Bye. Thank you, Farhad, very much for your time.
Bye for now.